These price increases are probably to do with subsidising people like David Beckham. Did you know when David Beckham first signed with Tudor in 2017, the initial paycheck was £300,000. Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Tudor is no longer the poor man's Rolex. It's official. I don't know if you know this, but Tudor also did a price increase on the 1st of January 2025. They did. What's super annoying about this price increase is nearly every Tudor AD in England was secretly calling its preferred customers and offering them 20% across the board on any Tudor they were. And some Tudors, they were going as high as 25% off for preferred customers. That's 25% off MSRP. If the watch was selling for 4, you would get it for 3. So you wouldn't expect a brand that was already overpriced to have a price increase on par with Rolex. Shocker, right? I took some screenshots of the watches before the price increase, and we're going to do a before and after with Brenny. Some of the prices are a little bit odd, like their all gold one only went up by £1,100, when an all gold Rolex went up by almost £3,500, and their steel models have gone up by about £100, almost on par with Rolex. And yet these are Tudors, not Rolexes, now getting the same equivalent price increase. More when you think about that their MSRP is 4,000 and a Rolex's MSRP is, let's say, 8,000. A Tudor is going up by £90, where a Submariner Rolex has only gone up by £50. Something doesn't make sense. Anyway, let's have a look at some of the price increases, which are hilarious, guys. These are hilarious. These price increases are probably to do with subsidising people like David Beckham. Did you know when David Beckham first signed with Tudor in 2017, the initial paycheck was £300,000. 8 years on, maybe he's part of the reason why the Tudor prices keep going up. Somebody's got to pay David. You would like to think that if you want to maintain low prices on what was originally created by the owner of Rolex to give his customers a very cheap alternative to a Rolex, you wouldn't have sponsors, would you? You would get rid of all the sponsors, stop advertising, reduce the number of SKUs, and slash their prices so that normal people could get a fake Rolex. I'm joking, I'm just trying to wind you up so that normal people could get an affordable Rolex, let's put it that way. Right, let's crack on with these pictures of before and after. Let's take a look at their most expensive Tudor that's available to buy as a walk-in. The Black Bay 58, the 18 karat gold watch, 19mm yellow gold. £27,610. After the price increase, a whopping £28,760. Do you know, for that money, you could get a solid gold Rolex pre-owned on the grey market and still have enough money to take your wife and your mistress out for a slap-up dinner. That is shocking. That's a £1,147 price increase. But gold has gone up. It's a bit odd, really, that this gold watch only went up by, let's say, £1,100 when the Rolex all gold watches went up by £3,000. Is the gold in a Tudor not as expensive as the gold in a Rolex? Who knows? This is an odd one. The watch is 27,610, and all of the Rolex all gold watches went up by 15%, which would then put this watch in the 30k bracket. Maybe they sat down and said, listen, we're not selling these watches at 27,610, so there's absolutely no way we're going to be able to sell these watches at 30k. So they settled on a smaller increase, still a high increase for a Tudor, of £1,147, bringing the watch up to 28,760. I've seen this watch in person and it is garbage. Let's move on. The classic S&G GMT, a watch that hasn't changed in 8 years, and looking at the watch, it is already way overpriced at 5,290. And you know, if you got that phone call a month ago and you had the money, you could have had this watch at £4,000 because you would have been a preferred customer and they were desperate to sell these watches. Let's see what the watch costs now. 5,520. £230 more. £5,500 for that watch. No way, Jose. Right, next one. Okay, same watch on a strap. £4,000. £4,000. No way. What does it cost now? 4,140 now. These people that were getting the phone calls were getting 25% off the Tudors that were available on a strap. This exact watch you could have had for £4,000 less 25%. You could have had this watch for £3,000 in December. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. But today the watch is super popular, so it is £4,140. Right, next one. Oh no, the gold S&G two-tone 40mm stainless steel. I mean, it's ugly, and it is not selling at 5,160. Let's see what the watch costs now. Again, 5,380 quid. £220 more. That's mad, isn't it? It's madness. I had to choose this one. This could be the ugliest watch ever created, ever. My biggest bugbear about these fake presidents, the royals, is that they couldn't do the day of the week properly. They couldn't be arsed making the dial look good, so they just cut through the numbers. I hate when you cut through numbers instead of reorganizing the dial. Anyway, that's a pet hate. I mean, this watch, I do like chocolate, but this watch is just, God, ugly as ugly can be. Wasn't selling before Christmas and still will not be selling in 2025. Are you ready for this? Current MSRP is now I'm not going to say it. If we say it, it will be true. There's no way that is the new MSRP of that watch. It can't be. It can't be true. Right. I want to talk about this watch. I really like this watch, and I am in negotiations to buy this watch pre-owned for under £3,000. I am. I could have bought this watch for £2,700 just before Christmas, but I didn't press the button because I was in negotiations with these people. It is probably the best value Tudor watch at the moment, and it comes on a 5-link bracelet and it has an adjustable clasp. It has a lot going for it. It's not as thick as the normal Tudors and it's META certified. For the money, it is the best value Tudor, and don't share that with anybody else. If you're only buying one Tudor and you only have a budget for one luxury wristwatch, I recommend you buy this in the mono version, so you get an all black sub basically at half the price. I have nothing bad to say about this watch. The reason I'm going for it in this configuration is I've got several watches and I think this will add some colour to the collection. Again, you heard it here first, Brenny is trying to purchase this exact watch, and this will be Brenny's, I think, 13 or 14 Tudor. I still don't own a Tudor because I've moved all of them on because they were basically garbage. But I'm determined to get the right one, and this could be it. The new MSRP is £4,010, £100 more. This is what's really odd. This watch in the mono looks exactly the same as the sub, and the sub went up by 50 quid. But this is a Tudor, so it's gone up by 100 quid. Go figure. Who is doing the numbers? How is a Tudor that costs half the price of a Rolex Submariner going up in price by double what the Rolex Submariner went up in price by? Does that make sense? Who's making this crap up? Not me. Right, next one. Pelagos FXD. When it first came out, it was good value for money. This is basically a watch head on a very childish NATO strap, if you ask me, and I've owned this exact watch. £3,500 plus 90 quid. It is now selling for 3680. Up by 90 quid. It's not worth it, guys. That is not worth it. The Pinky, the Miss Piggy. Still a great value watch for the money because you get the 5-link bracelet. But is it? Is this watch now worth 5,020 quid? Nah. If you really want this watch, give it a year, give it 2 years, and you'll get it on the grey market for 3,000. You will, and you'll thank me later. Right, next watch, their classic GMT. Oh, I forgot to screenshot the standard one. This is the same price, so luckily I had this one in my arsenal of saved pictures. They were selling this watch for 3,780, and remember, this was the watch you could have had 20% off. 20% off this watch just before Christmas, you know, if you were a preferred customer. What does this watch cost today? 3,870. So £90 more. Is it worth it? No, it is not, sadly. And I saved the rest for poo and giggles. Are you ready, guys? But I don't have befores. Have a look at this. The Black Bay Chrono SNG. Jesus wept. Who in their right mind is going to pay £7,180 for this watch? Now, I'm pretty sure this is Oisin O'Malley's favourite watch. And if you're watching, Oisin, would you pay £7,180 for this watch? Would you? No way. He wouldn't. There's not much more to say about this, is there, guys? Let's move on. And this is the nicer version with the beautiful yellow gold dial. Still, no way would I pay that price. What would I be willing to pay for this watch? If I wanted this watch, I can get this watch on the grey market for £4,500. I mean, I don't even like it. I think the non-color coded date wheel is just a piss take for a watch that expensive. And here's the thing, when these watches get to this price, they really should be upgrading the watches. For this kind of money, that non-coded color date wheel being white is just cheap. It's really on the gold, it's nasty, it's like an extra color you don't need. The watch is just horrible. Remember, this is on the old bracelet, by the way, without the adjustable clasp, by the way, and it's got that roll gold. This really is a piece of garbage for 7,000. What can you buy for 7,000? You can bloody buy a Rolex now for 7,000. You can buy a Submariner pre-owned on the grey market for 7,000. Why would you buy this garbage? You just wouldn't. If you're going to buy a watch like this is based on a Breitling movement, by the way. Go and buy a Breitling. You're better off buying a 7 grand Breitling than buying this garbage. I've said my bit. Right. In an effort to make the watch less expensive, let's see what the watch costs on an ASOS strap. Are you ready? Drum roll. Bang. Oh no. Piss take, isn't it? £5,800. They're having a laugh. You're having a laugh, Tudor. Are too many endorsements, too much money being spent on advertising. They have a cycle team, they have a rugby team, they have David Beckham, they have this just Japanese guy. They have a lot of irons in the fire. They are shelling out money left and right, and they want you to pay for it. I don't think that's the ethos of Tudor. Maybe Tudor needs to take a step back from itself and literally punch itself in the face, and then realize that the customers are going to walk from the brand if the brand doesn't start to make their watches reasonably priced again. That's my 2 cents worth. That's a guy who loves Tudors and is yet to find a good one. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening, and I will catch you on the next brand new video.